I would go beyond that to just try to get to where I am today.
But just your past, like, I mean, you are a military veteran.
Yeah.
You were a professional athlete. Like you
I was a professional, but I played high
you went to
level.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You did 2 tours, right?
3 tours total.
Like you did 3 tours. You were in the middle of
3 years in the combat zone.
Right. So I mean, and it's telling to say to someone who's got that background, right? You're a military vet who was, you were deployed, and in your training, you were told in the heat of violence, in the heat of under fire, when you are in the worst situation in the world, what do you not do? Lose your cool, get angry, do not succumb. Like what the point I'm making is, even in the most violent situation, it is something that is a detriment, not an advantage.
You're told to channel it, and then also like channel the anger, channel the fear, and use it, right? Mm-hmm. Use it towards what the objective is. Mm-hmm. But on the outside of it, everybody releases it, right? Mm-hmm. So when you come back, or when you're like not necessarily in an active moment of stress or duress, you release it in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's in the gym, whether it's with somebody else that just pissed you off because they took your cookie. Like, you pick a reason, right? Which is real. That happens. So, but kind of, I do want to go back to something where, relationally, when we talk about. We did. I think our episode got corrupted, but the episode we tried to discuss relationships, and we mentioned anger not having a place in these, right? Or what is really a lesson that I've learned in my journey here is that I'm still a human being. Okay, I'm still going to have things that will kind of set me off. Yes. Like how I respond is really important, though. Yes. And so recognizing that 5-year-old that just came out to play for a little bit and go, "Hey, dude, like that's not cool." You better fix it. And so I've recognized for me is like, whether it's with my kids, with my wife, in these relational moments where I lose my cool just a little bit. And to be honest with you, my anger has really subsided. It's not been nearly as much. But when I've had times where I've messed up, I'm like immediate to apologize for it. Where I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have acted that way. That wasn't the right thing to do.
I think it's really important to know or to notice that anger and every subset of emotion under anger, it's normal human behavior when you are put in certain situations, right? So we don't want to suppress anything or say, I know you say anger is a weakness, and to a point, I do agree with that. If it's uncontrolled and if it's dysregulated, then yes, it does have a space because it tells you something. Your emotions is how your unconscious tells you that something isn't wrong. So if something happens and you get angry and you go, don't white knuckle it, acknowledge it. See what it's trying to tell you. And this goes for every emotion. It doesn't just go for anger. It goes for every emotion. You never want to white knuckle it. You always want to acknowledge that it's going on. Like you say, I see the 5-year-old coming out to play. Acknowledge it. Maybe try and figure out where that comes from so that I can actually address the underlying issue of why it's coming out. But there is a place for every emotion as long as you are regulated.
And I like that analogy. It's not to say anger is a weakness, but it's not to say that you shouldn't get rid of it, or, as you say, white knuckle. It's understanding that you are going to get angry, to understand the emotion, understand why the emotion is coming up, take accountability. Right, and then again, you said often is then revert back to neutral.
Transform it, transmute it.